Okay, my aim today is to show us Smith Street, going all the way to the market, and then we are beginning off here at the Esplanade. That's where we're beginning, which is next to Garden Court, South Beach. Alright, so that's where we're beginning. It's not officially Smith Street this, but that's how that's Smith. We're going to Smith Street all the way down. It's a very long stretch, something like 2.5 kilometers. Alright, emarobothini lapho phesheya kugcwele ilapho kugcwala khona-ke amaforeigner, and then there are current issues that we will solve. The Lord Jesus Christ is our might. Whatever social engineering is done by the DA liberals and Muslim Indians through the EFF and ANC, we will prevail. The Lord Jesus Christ reigns. He's the one who allotted this land to the Zulu people. Praise His holy name. So asiqaleke sihambe uSmith Street uqala ngale phesheya ku Point Road osubizwa ngoma-Mahatma Gandhi, inkosi yama-colonialist yokuthithibalisa amaZulu ukuthi angasebenzisi amandla. Alright, so we're going this route. Thank you. Alright, when you continue on this route, this black building used to be called Four Seasons Hotel. Ilapho futhi esalala khona ngenkathi ngizogreda nabaza ngo-1998 sinabothiyamiso nabazali bami. Alright, ngagcina sekuyi-accommodation yabafundi, which saved this part because uGillespie nje lo somwela khona manje ubusuvele uwa ngesivinini esikhulu, and then ulentoza ukufakwa kwama-student kwalekelela ekutheni kusave uGillespie. Alright, but still nje ubuka iy'tolo zonke cishe ezilaphansi ezama-Nigeria, the fronting businesses. Alright, asikho kuGillespie isabhaliwe student housing. That was called Four Seasons. Now lapho le China Mall, it was the Wheel back in the day. Alright, we are not doing Gillespie, eGagasini. Alright, I'm just indicating which streets are we crossing. I'm not going to explain streets that we cross all the way, just here. Okay. Uqala uSmith Street ke la uyena sizonqhuma sizofika le ezansi. Okay, that's where we're going. Smith Street. I think I'm gonna be mainly on the left hand side of Smith Street. Alright. Now we are officially on Smith Street. Ama-taxi aqala kanje, eze kanje, ajika lapha asuka ngalo kuGillespie bese azojika la eshonele ama-taxi. We are on Smith Street officially. What is noticeable with this area, ukuthi most amabhizinisi anikezwe yabo abantu laba bangaphandle, most yawo. So that's what you find a lot kule area. And then nangu uzintathu lapha. Question is uzintathu uzintathu noma se kwagcina sekuyi fronting as per the usual, but modula lapha kugcwele laba abokufika. So that's the question, ukuthi are those businesses still basically South African businesses? So we go, and that's urban life. It was student accommodation. The business, the building is for sale. So we for sale. It is for sale. So these are big streets I do not know. When you are on this side of Smith Street, and then urban life, Ganjalo, and then that cluster of buildings is for sale too. Actually, they say it has already been sold. It's basically ancient buildings with great history. I forget the name of that particular one, with Kamalalo. All right, and then when you see these churches, you've got, okay, this is an Ethiopian church. The writing shows an Ethiopian church. I've got less issues with Ethiopians, honestly speaking. All right, that's the cluster where I stay. I stay in this cluster of buildings. It's a beautiful corner. So now we're crossing Shepstone Street. Crossing Shepstone Street all the way, and as you can see, these cars come from the harbor, that side, and that's the main road which comes from the point. Okay, Kamala Lily, Beckingham Court. It's beautiful old buildings. I love this building. It's basically similar to Kingsway, and that corner one which is called Landmark. All of them are very beautiful buildings, even up to that one, Metropole. So as you can see on that first level, it's now called Ethiopian Restaurant. That's now the Ethiopian restaurant. Okay, that's where we catch our people mover buses, in that green stop. So you can see Ethiopian restaurant, and then you can see Ethiopian church there. All right, so that is basically what is happening. And you'll see downtown West Street, the same phenomenon as orchestrated. But Ethiopians are safer compared to Somalians, but they also are what is defined as tribalist or racist in South Africa, segregatory. So it informs a lot as to why Bure implemented racial and tribal segregation. They saw that phenomenon as the way of life in Africa and the world. Now ask yourself about white English and the colonialists who blamed the Bure for this, whereas they knew very well what it is the normal operation of the world, this segregation, because in Ethiopian clusters they don't allow black South African businesses. Okay, and I stay flats. Okay, it's not a flat as such, a Bayside hotel. Okay, when you're seeing many women like that, you're already thinking Sasa. I don't know, but it looks like Sasa offices or something like that. That's what I'm seeing there. I cannot confirm. Art Deco buildings that are celebrated here. That's the Art Deco business. You see it in some of the pictures. Art Deco. It's a win. It's called Heronmere. That's what it's called. Again, okay, this one is the road which is going to the Durban ICC. You can see by the different lights, street lights. Okay, there's car dealerships and them. This side, that's where I bought my paint to paint the room. That white thing is a ship. That one. Alright. All these defense security companies, whom are they defending? Clearly not us. Okay, essentially umgwaqo lo eqaleni kwakuyi umgwaqo ogcwele ama-prostitute abelungu. So hence you had all these pornography shops la, especially kule area ke lapha phezulu, hence i-point kube yindawo ethatheka kalula because it was always a place of lawlessness, so to put it, prostitution and all the stuff. It's a place of Nigeria. Alright. And then here in Durban you've got DUT, what? 158 Anton Lembede, and then you've got Gauteng City College. Alright, now this Sonto. Okay, this hotel, I've never been next to this hotel. This hotel is the Durban Hotel. You can look at the art deco thereof, it's very beautiful. Okay, and then now John Ross Lapaya. Ilapo Roma rotating restaurant ilap. Roma restaurant. Okay, and that's the rare khaya. Remember, Durban is mainly influenced by English culture than Boer culture. So khaya is not a very common feature in the colonial economy, because that's where you've got that building at the corner is the Methodist. Watch my other video yesterday as I do. I'm gonna invest, alright. As I do the central business district thereof of Durban. That's where we're coming from. Alright, so this is the khaya. You can see the Dutch architecture of the Cape Dutch architecture in the design. Alright, so that would be where the Boer were competing with the English merchants to basically control the economy of South Africa and the land and everything. Alright, so obviously in Durban, or rather in KwaZulu-Natal, the English won. Thank you. Alright, eThekwini Community Church seems to have moved to this area. I don't know. Or maybe it's one of the branches. Alright. And then amakhanda dealership, they are the other businesses which is saving the central Durban business district. Nice painting on these pillars. I guess Kaizer Chiefs supporters will be impressed. So it's a lot of car dealerships. I think it's Dick King, who Dick King. And then Dick King is that guy on the horse who saved the English quests or colonial quests in Durban and therefore KwaZulu-Natal, which therefore made the English to win in the whole of SADC and sub-Saharan Africa. Bese la kuba Johnson and also. Okay, but that's Dick King. Alright. Okay. That's nice. Mageba cars, thank you. Alright. I hope it's Mageba cars for real. Hey. Okay, I've never noticed to say Transnet. We got Transnet la, cutting border. I'm not very sure why they've got offices outside the harbors, because they've got huge land in the harbors to own offices. So why they specifically also have offices here, I've got no idea. But these are the guys who are moving abantu bangaphandle a lot of our land, especially like the Muslims and them, via the harbor, and all the containers which are flooding our country with illegal goods and also human trafficking and all the stuff that is happening is like it. Alright, so that's Transnet, which is controlled in Johannesburg and controlled by the vendor and the Shangaan who are stealing all the gas and selling it on the streets of Soweto. And then basically the harbors of KZN are ruled by Gauteng and Limpopo. Alright, and the whites of Stellenbosch. Okay, we were here yesterday, so angizukuvidorize okuningi ngala. Let me just pass. We're just walking through because we did the central business district, the colonial economy of the British back in the day. All right, so we're not redoing that. It's already done. I showed you that, and then I showed you this embassy building. We're not redoing that. Okay. Yeah. Just a repeat of what we've already seen. Seyaguqulwa nemigwaqo amagama Samora Machel, ngazi Samora Machel walenzelani iTheku. All right. Shown this area is Zulu. Sikwi precinct ayibo. Angahamba kabuhlungu kanje kodwa ngihamba endaweni eyiPayview. Ngise Playhouse, City Hall. Not saying much about this area. We spoke about it yesterday. This is the Treasury. You've got to watch that video as well. Okay, the Playhouse compound. Okay. Kungena la. All right. Sengikhohle ukukhombisa again ihotela leli esiqeda kudlula. Treasury, ama-account sihlala lapho, sibhadala lapho. The Royal Hotel, although it's no longer operating, right? But yeah, I'm sure they will keep it until this can operate again. Okay, that's the City Hall, basically the precinct, going all the way to the workshop. All right. Got a problem with the belt, so now I'm struggling because my belt is broken, so I need to buy a belt. It's damaged. Yeah, it's broken. It's fine. Smith Street going down. We were here yesterday. We essentially on the taxi route, really. That's the taxi route and the bus route through Durban. That's how you connect from the beach to the markets. We are about to cross the central the midway point. Midway. All Mutual and them districts, ABSA and Standard Bank and them were located here, and this was Net Bank. It's now lawyers' quarters. All right. This structure is celebrated in architecture, and then it's kind of your gentleman's club area. All right. And so I think I don't like. And then, like I pointed yesterday, those are the IFP offices, Durban Club Place, right there. There. And all the arcades. Durban has got many arcades. It's one of the arcades there. All right. if we manage to do this in basically like 30 minutes, we would have won. Would I be able to fit all this in 30 minutes so that then we go up West Street and fit that also in another 30 minutes? I think I'm gonna have to cut the video Mangada Smith Street. Okay, now we're going to be going across to Russell Street. Go to Russell, and then we should be Zongoba or John Slovo Loabo. Alright, the Jewish communists. Alright. Smith Street used to be a street of high-heeled ladies because it used to be a lot of beautiful offices and the likes. Now me live to go on, and then you got the Mashela the other time by Devon residents. It's that building there. Alright. So that's what? Is this Russell? Or yeah, it's Russell basically. So mningu homing ala. As you can see, that's another homie. Kanjani. Sama takes I must grave what's all lapha. Lapho la kamela lapha kuphi, but asebenzelana usebenzisana, I don't remember. What's ngimbuze just for knowledge. Okay, Smith Street. Okay, ama-taxi khona nayo airpoint angikho sure kanjani, but usho njalo. So this would be uyathola iMusgrave emalanga phambili khona iMusgrave engala, and then iMusgrave futhi nangalapha phakathi. Okay, izolo-ke besingalentuza besingabaxolela mhlambe ngokuthi kade kunodoti phansi ngenxa yomoya kade strong. Okay, not today. Today we need an explanation why there's all these papers on the ground, especially Smith Street. But wait, Smith Street. Yabona idolobha mazophathwa abantu ukuthi abakhulelanga nakulo abangalithandi abafike ngokuzosebenza. It's usually a problem because they don't have a sense of pride even in the job that they're doing, because they are imported people, imported from lapho lawo makhaya basuke qhamuka kuwo or amanye amadolobha who have come for money, whoever they destroy or whatever they destroy. So it's sad. So umubhekale phezulu lapha entabeni, that would be your University of KwaZulu Natal. I'm seeing something nice here. That would be your University of KwaZulu Natal. And I can see the cranes because I know there's student accommodation that is being built there. Will I reach that area? I don't know. But for skyscraper city purposes, it would be nice to reach even that area. Okay, ilapho siqhamuka khona le emuva la ku Smith Street, and then cishe sekade sicrossile i central line. Now lama structure lana le lama kambe abizwa na senkhohliwe ownings or something like that. You can look at those structures. They're very, very, very beautiful. I wonder what is happening there. I've never taken these short streets of Durban in the past. All right, so they are very, very nice structures. Okay, at this point the road gets wider because you can see that's how many lanes, 1, 2, 3. They since seemingly installed these pavings, so for parking purposes and the likes. I think Smith Street was much wider. So now these would be the original lanes, how wide the street was. And maybe this starts marking the dirty side of Smith Street. Now it changes. I don't know what it is. 47 Salmon Grove Chambers. Okay, that's another. I would call them all arcades, but they corrected me. Those are passages, and then I'm arcades. Alright. You see, this area can be very neat and nice if they so decide. I'm not so sure why. I don't understand. Us. And then it's clean this side. Why is this area dirty? This cluster from La Oba wider to this portion. Why is it dirty? Why? Now ShopRite Dumile Lapaya and the likes. Okay, there's history in terms of this building, and as you can see, it is part of the SANDF, the fat soldiers with a fat female minister of Limpopo who has fought wars against, I'm sure, Zokpokan. Alright, that's the intended plan in terms of Lama, bus stop kanjalo. That's what they have in plan, but it's been more than 5 years having those plans. They have not yet been implemented to this day. And then this building itself, where are the markings really? Hey. Okay, this building is saying Regional Works Unit KwaZulu-Natal Security Area, and it seems to be to do with the military. Okay, nalela billet lila fangzol shooter leya because kunini belakha, so I need to show it ku skyscraper city ukuthi selinjani manje. Okay, we're still on Smith Street. And then, unlike in Johannesburg, in Durban, white street dwellers do walk the streets. Our Sekoli, they don't even walk the streets of central Johannesburg anymore. They don't. Yeah, these are okay. So that's the building that is getting finished there for purposes of skyscraper city. And then says again, I go Grey Street. Go to Grey Street, the busiest one in terms of perpendicular streets. What's the normal term for describing the these strong winds. Now that takes you to that Al-Juma mosque, and then I'm at baseMlazi aqhamuka lapho kubhalwe. Okay, I see Yusuf Dadu. This is Yusuf Dadu, but khona le board levela lapha wasithi informed amatheksi baseMlazi abeqhamukela lapho bese zongena la eyophuma ke eshonale eseyakuphi eMlazi. And then forever uma ubuka lama panela agcwele amakhanda usuke kumaforeigner Nigerians. I don't like that. I don't like, we didn't like mama business egcwele abelungu, and then we're not going to like mama business egcwele ama black foreigner. It's just one and the same thing. Saswela ama black South Africans, not ama black foreigners. Alright? So we'll come, because that now defines the Albert Park basically. From this corner going down, this would be now Albert Park, all of it. That's Albert Park, the notorious. It starts here. Ona Litala Bank Lapaya. I guess the whole building was supposed to be. I don't know. Okay. Perhaps the second largest, or maybe the third largest Universal Church of the Kingdom of God building. Alright. Let's list it under Albert Park still. Alright, because this whole cluster is Albert Park basically. So now I don't know if they still have congregants as such. It used to be a very busy church. Zulu manis built these churches, and then Zulus are starving. Now this brings questions to Guti. What are these churches all about? I'm a born again Christian, don't misunderstand me. Okay, Kombisa, the famous arcade Lapaya. That's the most famous arcade. So one must be Ngagu Street. So now I'm gonna say maybe the largest one, Universal Church Chile, Lapaya Gupi, Bara, maybe the second largest one, Lapaya, Johannesburg, Naik, the Shane Sakiwesganji, Basic Baile. The reality in a Universal Church is that it's one of the churches which initiated the flocking in of these foreign churches into South Africa and their dubious deeds. I don't know if I can blame Universal Church for the same, but there were endless scandals about a Universal Church. There's a busy area, St. George's Arcade, another arcade again. Durban has got many arcades, so that one is called St. George's Arcade. Laundromat, Bolton, still gone. That's in company Bolton. So, Universal Church brings out the other time, which is one of the churches which initiated really the influx of all these foreign-led churches. Listen, churches, our churches, like, or rather, let's separate these into two. Colonial churches, Anglican, Methodist, and all those churches were always controlled in foreign lands. But what they did is they then brought their colonial form of Christianity. Christianity is not colonialism, but they specifically brought a form of Christianity which is colonial. All this is Albert Park, by the way. So they brought that Christianity here, and then, however, they did make puppet pastors who basically are informed by that form of Christianity. Puppet pastors are using local people. Now these particular churches, Universal and them, they don't even make local pastors to be their puppets. They don't actually even groom them to being. They are run by foreigners purely. They bring foreigners as pastors, etc., etc. So it's just like that. Albert Park, it is overtaken a lot by illegal immigrants. I would say in the passing 1.5 years, illegal immigrants in Durban have tripled ever since the GPU. So maybe we need to discuss that, because Tamin Tuli appears on TV acting as though he's fighting with illegal immigrants. When you are walking the ground, you don't see where he's fighting. Actually, you're seeing where he's facilitating it to multiply. Thank you. Pavement because so this part of Smith Street now looks like Grey Street complex. So let me cross over to the other side. Let's videorize from the other side instead. Okay, we're still on Smith Street. What is this other side? This other side, okay, la I'm even a colony and all those areas. So I just wanted us to see these buildings which are chaotic. This is how it looks basically. So Smith Street la. Okay, ama-taxi ke siseke silekelele njengoba ekhuluma kakhulu ukuthi okay Port Shepstone, yes, nama-taxi ase-Port Shepstone angala. So that's your Smith Street, all of it. And then le ndawo yona yelekelelwe ama-college ukuthi ingawi such. Alright, as you can see, School of Engineering, which is Beria Technical College, and then but then you see all these clusters of African Union's colonialization of Black South Africa, or of South Africa, because ultimately it is the African Union and their United Nations which are bringing all these floods of illegals into South Africa. Alright, and then ama-taxi ke la ya go Koloni, Port Shepstone, zonke lezo indawo agcwala la. So now you must note ukuthi lezi itolo lezi zama-foreigner ezibezidayisa ama-drugs zimiswa ngaso sonke isikhathi eceleni kwama-college lapho esimukisa khona abafundi bethu kuyofunda, because I will say it again, the people who brought drugs to townships are those who actually attended these tertiaries and mixed with foreigners and the likes. So they are the ones who brought drugs to townships. Okay, these are diagonal streets of all the taxi ranks that are going to the South Coast. That's the South Coast cluster. This is still Albert Park Young. So the Beria Technical College, which is this side, and also this side, is saving this space. It looks like a taxi baseMlazi say wow, Mangala. There was a new building which was built in that colorful wall area. It was taken down. It was China, whatever. So it was brought down. Will I be able to videoize Albert Park? We will see. Today is not my duty, but it seems nothing much has improved today. We're downtown Smith Street. Beria Technical College is saving this space. Beria Technical College is saving this space. Alright. Flats are trying to save what? Ilento. Albert Park. Iyiphi indima ozoyidlala ukugcina idolobha lihlakanzekile ukuthi nichithe ama-black foreigners nama-illegal immigrants from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and all those Muslim countries. So if you want to keep the city clean, remove them. They are the ones who brought dirtiness in our Black South African cities and areas. Ukuze wazi ukuthi thina as South Africans sihlanzekile, ongaya kuma-suburb ethu, ongaya kuma-lokishi ethu are clean. So why would we be clean in our black South African townships and be dirty in the city? So blame your black foreigners for the dirty cities, not us. Ningabothanda ukusisherisa i-blame ngezinto esingazazi. Okay, that's Albert Park basically at the periphery. That's iGagasini, that's the other college which is saving this part of Durban. And then you can say as such. So there was a building lah. It was not even 10 years old, and then it got bent, and then they've taken it down. Not very sure why they took it down per se, but it was not even 10 years old. So something wrong happened lah. I think the whole structure was wrong via the ANC bribable architects, civil engineers and them. Ama-taxi baseMlazi angena la. So come lentuza Dal Bridge, and then bese wehlela ngala. These are Mlazi taxis entering the city, and they go out up there. All right. The actual town ngala, and then sesingena on the Beria side of town. Last wela ini ujantshi ngala. And then lapha phambili bese kugcwele imijondolo yalabantu abalala emgaqweni, which were facilitated by the diaconal churches. Same story as the Central Methodist Church in Johannesburg. They are the ones whose love brought all these foreigners here, and then they've never accounted for that. Bazalwane babo bengaklini imigwaqo, bangaklini ujantshi lapha, bayoklina lapha, abayoklini. Ibona balethe wonke lama foreigner. You can't just be loving Davi and then bese ke ayidolobha lengqala wena bese uyaqoqeka uklini lapha namabhayibheli ne-uniform eklini yaseMethodist. Kodwa idolobha ulivumele ukuthi lingcole wena ngothando lwakho oluqakile olungasilo olukaNkulunkulu obhale incwadi yeZaga 17 verse 26 and 27 elicacisa ukuthi uJesu uqobo lwakhe osabele ukuthi sihlale endaweni ezahlukahlukene. Wena uphikisa uJesu obhale lapha eBhayibhelini uthi sonke asihlale ndawonye, ukhanda iBhabhele mawuqeda ubiza uthando likaNkulunkulu lo. Hayi bazalwane, klinani ke phela idolobha enilingcolisile ngothando lwenu likaNkulunkulu. Liklineni inini efana niklini. And then at this point, kuqala ini DUT, the city campus, used to be full of a lot of trees than this. It's basically empty now. They obviously chopped back the trees to be able to have better vision yokuthi kwenzakalani against the periphery, obviously because of abantu abalenzayo abantshontshayo, because phela la bese kuyindawo yama-vagrant onke njengoba kwi-Albert Park and everything. Smith Street downtown sesiyo-connecta ngobani yila ama-taxi ajika khona. And then nangu ke the famous Sydney Road. This road takes you all the way to Umbilo. Alright, lapho bengihlala khona. And then sengiyaqala ke okwazi ukuthi lama-taxi ayakuphi. Ngangihlezi ngizibuza ukuthi ayakuphi la asebhalile ke Eastern Cape. Luyasiso osidakelwayo. That lady osidakelwayo osifundisa i-unity with Africans. That Xhosa arrogant lady osuke ekoloni lakubo ozositshela eThekwini ukuthi we have issues with our African brothers. Na amateksi ayakubo angaziwanga gibeli aye ekoloni lakubo elihle. Yazi khathalekile ukulawulwa yiwo wonke lo muntu ezweni lethu siyamaZulu. Every discourse about KZN is led by people who are not Zulus. Even the speaker is not a Zulu. Kwenze njani kulanda abo DA to take decisions for us? Kwenze njani maZulu? Abantu bafuna ipower at whatever cost, and then up to subjugating their nation with people who are not of those nations. The reason I'm now mentioning these things is ukuthi kahle sesidelelekile as the Zulu nation. That's the issue. Sidelelwa wonke umuntu because of Zulus who love power, like the Abotamintuli. Hayi bazalwane. So that's Eastern Cape taxis, ama-taxi ajika lana ke, and then ahlangane namanye aqhamuka koMlazi kanjalo. DUT le yayigcwele izihlahla inhle kwakukuhle la, but ke ama-park basazama kwaqoqa. But you can see now there's those areas where they accumulate all the debt kanjalo, and then bese mase silana ke sesi kwelinye ke idolobha sesi ku Warwick Avenue. Ama-taxi aya Empilo, even noma uya elento ze-Pine Town uhamba ngalapho uyozufike ku-Sanya Road, umufika le phambili maqeda ukudlula umbilo. Mawubuya Empilo ungena ngala, amanye aqhamuka eMlazi angena ngala because asuke egudle phakathi kwamafemu, and then zonke bonke nalapho uma-city center nawa ayaqhamuka la, and then wonke bese azojika la, which is now called the King Dinuzulu Park, and that was the famous Durban Christian Center lapho kubhalwe i-CFCI, and then True Vine Church was this side. And then isonto ke lomthakathi unala owayomzalwane za lile phambili. Maningi amasonto emotionally, and then namaZimbabwe ayegcwele kulolu hlangothi ke lweTheku. And then now this is the Berea, which is wale DUT Berea campus. It was called the city campus. DUT, the main campuses, they are beyond that flyover oyibona lapha phambili. Asizile ku Warwick namhlanje, so we will do Warwick another time. Look at how clean the park is. The areas that you think would have fallen worse, now that you see that horror that is happening in the city center, are actually clean. Now go to Bryanston Heights, the famous flat in Berea. So we will do King Dinuzulu Street another time. God willing, I'll have an opportunity. I still miss the green trees which were here. It made this place to be far away, even though it is here. It was beautiful to walk within. Kwakuthiwa music school kanjalo. Now that concludes Smith Street. That concludes Smith Street, and then now we go to what? To West Street. So now my taxi wonke ayakoMlazi, Chesterville, all areas of Durban. This is the largest taxi rank area in the city of Durban. That's the largest. Now sesokhuphuka ngo West Street size siyofika le phezulu. Okay, so iqala leyo. That's Warwick. And all the markets, early morning market, this one is English market, the former Durban Christian Center, Alhambra Theatre, this. Now it's called Covenant Fellowship Church International, Ka Apostle Jomo. And then you go to the Berea up the road. And there's a Tola Berea Center, Umuqhubeka, kanjalo. Lapha ku roof e blue, that's the Umlazi taxi rank. Nanka amanye rank mangikhumbula kahle aya koMzinto Qobo, and then iChesterville nayo ingale ngaphesheya. And then you've got your the famous Berea Road railway station behind. Thank you. That concludes Smith Street.